Hello, Barmy Army.
Hey, Army.
Welcome to today's show. Today,
Don't forget to wear your mask.
we are going to be talking about Neil Buchanan as Banksy.
Or is he?
Or is he not? We're going to be talking about Robert Patterson potentially having COVID and its effect on the new Batman film, and plenty of other bits and pieces that we're going to shoehorn in, no doubt. Right, so Nick, we have talked about Banksy before in the show,
We
have we not?
have. We talked about that thing where someone bid for a piece of his artwork in an auction that then shredded itself.
Yes, because he pressed the button, didn't he?
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the button was meant to press it all the way down, and it didn't, did it? It jammed halfway through.
But it was still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It was still pretty impressive that it even managed that much, and kept it like completely under wraps.
And of course, it doubled the price of the piece of art, which is insane, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yes, it is insane.
Yeah. So, what do you think of these rumours about Neil Buchanan being
Wow.
Banksy, our childhood favourite artist? Next to, of course, what was the name of the other guy? Who?
Tony Hart.
Tony Hart. Yeah. Neil Buchanan
Rest
and
his
Tony
soul.
Hart. Yep. Tony Hart and Neil Buchanan are my favourite childhood artists.
This kind of doesn't surprise me much.
Really?
Because, well, we're of the generation where Neil Buchanan was the art legend.
He is, yeah, the art attacker.
And he went out and did huge. He went out and did these huge. Like designs as well,
That's
didn't
it.
he?
Oh,
things
yes.
out of straw, things out of hair.
Yeah, in the big fields, isn't it? In the big fields, the big mosaics in the fields.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
So it really doesn't surprise me that some people were like, "What if Neil Buchanan's Banksy?"
It does make sense when you think about it, and also apparently he's got a rock band. Apparently, is that correct, Nick? Can you tell us a little bit about the band?
I don't know a lot about them in all honesty, but the fact is they've got Neil Buchanan in. Neil Buchanan basically was our childhood because he was in loads of shows. He wasn't just Art Attack. He hosted Motormouth. He was in a Saturday show called Number 73, which is slightly before our time. I think we were both very young when that was out.
You're probably right there.
So that was in the 80s,
right?
Early 80s, and lots of other shows as well. He was involved in a lot of the CITV shows, and was also a producer as well.
Was he? I
was
didn't know that.
part of a company called the Media Merchants.
Ah, okay.
Who produced a lot of other shows for CITV as well.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he was a big person involved with the children's programming.
Yeah, he
at the time.
was. He was involved. So he was involved with loads of it, and Finders Keepers as well.
Finders Keepers. I remember that one.
Forget Finders Keepers.
What happened in that? Was it like a trade-off show?
Raid the Rooms.
Oh,
yeah. So basically, they had this. They're kind of like their studio is a big house, and two teams have to find an object based on a clue in the house. So so they're given a clue. They have to work out what the item is, and they do it everywhere. And it's just lots of Neil Buchanan shouting, "Look absolutely everywhere! Look high! Look low! Look!" Yeah.
Oh, I see. Like hide and seek type thing.
Yes.
So he's a very eccentric individual, very intelligent, very artistic. I think there's a good chance.
Well, you never know. I mean, I don't know how old he is now.
He must be in his 50s, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also, I'm going to tell you, I've just thought of this, so we're going to slide it in. Suspect number 2, Timmy Mallet. Let's go over the MO of this one. So, Timmy Mallet was, like Neil Buchanan, an eccentric children's TV star. Was also very intelligent, and still is. Also, filmed his own music videos. Also, did really big pieces of art. Also, on Facebook, sells art, does live videos, talks about art, travels around the UK on a regular basis.
You've given this a lot of good thought. That's admirable.
Thank you.
So
let's think about this evidence now, guys.
Yeah,
is Timmy Mallet Banksy?
Part of me wonders is if Banksy was present at Shreddergate, I know it's not the best term for it, but it's the only one I can think of right now.
That's right.
You know, would they have been photographed? Would would a lot of onus have been on them?
That's
So,
it. And if
can't
it was
tell.
a low-key celebrity like Timmy Mallet or Neil Buchanan, they wouldn't have really taken much mind.
I mean, they could have merged into the background. You know,
They
it's
could have
like-
merged into the background because they're not what you would call current celebrities, and they're not of the age of being popular, and they probably haven't got a TikTok and all this sort of thing.
I mean,
so
I think-
they're not in the face of the media all the time.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think Neil Buchanan has spoken about not being Banksy
he
before now.
has. You're right,
Timmy
but then
Mallet hasn't, but
Timmy Mallet hasn't. No. So could Timmy Mallet be Banksy? Who knows? Because he does travel around the UK. It's all over his Instagram with his bike and his paints and all this sort of stuff. And he's low-key enough celebrity that it could be him and no one would take any notice.
And the 90s, the 90s kids would probably thinking we never thought we'd arrive at the day where we describe Timmy Mallet as low key.
Well, this is true though, isn't it? And also, he's had a big anniversary recently. It's been the anniversary of Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka
Oh yeah,
Dot
that was
Bikini.
30 years ago
That's
now.
right. So he's back in the forefront and back in the limelight, my man. And of course, like we were saying before, Timmy Mallet, big part of our childhood, found it hilarious. Badger Jr. finds it hilarious. He's got that eccentric edge. He's fun. He's exciting. He's interesting. Travels a lot.
It's whackaday.
And his artwork is interesting. Now, this is another point where it could be, because Timmy Mallet's art style, he does a lot of what you'd see at the back here. Lots of sort of paintings of flowers.
It's quite fine art-esque, isn't it?
Fine artist. But is that a cover for the other stuff? Who knows? And it's the same. Although Neil Buchanan's art is similar to Banksy's in some ways, Timmy Mallet could be using the other stuff as a complete cover. What do you think, Nick? Who is Banksy?
There was actually lots of speculation about whether Banksy was Robert Del Naja from Massive Attack.
Okay.
That's been there as well, because I think Massive Attack have been touring around similar locations to where Banksy's work has been spotted, has recently come up.
Could
So
you tell us
there's
a
that.
little bit about that? Because I'm not really that clued up on Massive Attack. I don't really know much
Massive
about the
Attack are
band.
probably best known for their track Unfinished Sympathy,
Okay.
which was in 1991. And no, you don't. And I think they had a lot of hits in the 90s. They had songs with tracks like Angel, which was used in TV show, and Teardrop, featuring Liz from the Cocteau Twins.
Okay,
And-
so the reason why he might be Banksy is because he travels in certain locations. But does he have an art history?
Well, he's a musical artist. So
There you
he's
are.
used to being creative.
So there you go. So that could potentially be it then. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay. Right. So out of the three, Nick, who would you think is Banksy out of the three?
I'll be honest with you, I couldn't possibly comment. You know,
Oh.
I think I think Neil Buchanan might have spoken out about that anyway.
So
but
he's
Timmy
crossed off
Mallet.
the
The thing
list.
is, you didn't actually mention. Well, hello there. The thing is, I mean, you didn't actually mention that you were going to talk about Timmy Mallet before we started. So this is all news to me as well. But I'm going to say I don't blame you for thinking that. And
let's get back on track. Yes, I think Timmy Mallet is Banksy, and you think that potentially it could be either Neil Buchanan or the Massive Attack
Yes.
guy. Interesting. Right, let's move on. We only got a short amount of time, and we're going to talk about Robert Patterson, the Batman, and of course, how it affects him having COVID and things like that.
I mean,
so what do you think?
I mean, the Batman films, it got delayed filming because of COVID. I just did everything.
As did everything. And they've really worked hard on it. I've seen the teaser trailer, the fandom trailer.
Yeah, because they released a bunch of those recently,
They
didn't
did, yeah. It's a very raw cut trailer with some really cool, edgy 90s rock music. I think it's something by Kurt Cobain, I'm not too sure.
I need to go back and watch that.
Watch it. It's very dark. You've got evidence of the Riddler, the Joker, multiple villains, some really scary visuals. Batman is what you would call like Dark Knight mode. He's like Bale, where he's all really dark clothing, really
like
gruff
a cartoon
voice.
series.
Yes, exactly.
Very
Similar
dark.
to...
Did they run out of black paint with all the dark stuff?
Who knows? But it is very good, very spooky.
Is it like a specially filmed trailer?
Yeah,
They've
it's a
not actually
special
started
film. I don't think they've started filming it properly.
Yeah.
This was like a special teaser trailer,
Yeah.
so it's fantastic. I really like it. I think it's fantastic. And if the actual film is anything like the teaser trailer, magnifique.
That's good because it has an Everest of expectation to climb.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a real shame. I would not wish COVID on anyone.
Exactly, it's a real shame. And of course, it's a real shame that the film is now being delayed again. And, I really hope Robert a speedy recovery. I've only really known him from the Twilight films, so I was very negative to begin with before I saw this. Before I saw the trailer, I was very negative about it, Nick.
Yeah.
But once I've seen it, he's badass.
Yeah.
It's like emo Bat.
And the thing is, I mean, he has so many other films that have acclaimed. I mean, he was in a film called, I think it was called The Lighthouse last year.
Yeah, that was a horror, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet.
Which actually was very well acclaimed. I mean, there was one film critic, Chris Stuckman, who actually said it was his favourite movie of last year.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it was a really well acclaimed film.
So he's on
it's also
form then.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that the Twilight films have been nearly a decade ago now. The first one was like 2008.
Don't make me feel old, Nick.
Tough.
But there
you're still young in my eyes.
Oh, thank you, darling.
I can't exactly. I'm not that much younger than you, so I can't really call you old.
Indeed, yeah. So it's really interesting. So he's come along as an actor. Do you think the money from the Twilight films boosted him up? He's learned how to act since.
The money and the profile.
The money and the profile has definitely helped. He's obviously gone to acting classes since. He's really become a really good actor. And now we have potentially one of the best Batman since Michael Keaton. So fingers crossed. Bold. So fingers crossed. And he will be in it as well. At some point, Robert Patterson and Michael Keaton and Bale
as well.
And, of course, Ben Affleck will potentially be in the same film, which is going to be mad.
Yes, it is going to be mad.
But these things are going to happen eventually, but we're going to have to wait again. Yeah. Will this 10-day absence of Robert make the film even more waylaid? Will it turn into 2022? Things like that. Will that be scary?
You never can tell. I mean, a majority of films that were due to come out this year the majority of them have been moved to next year now.
And of course we can talk about how rubbish some of the film industry's behaved with Mulan and things like that, where they have decided to now go on this paper premiere thing, which is terrible.
Particularly if the film isn't even any good.
It's hogwash apparently, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, especially if you did pay for it. I'd love to know. And so how do you think all these breaks in filming will affect the film industry, Nick, before we go?
It's really difficult to say. I think, I mean, what they're having to do is, they're having to, they've got no choice but to change release dates. They're going to have to put stuff back, and it's a good thing that they aren't, because otherwise they're working to ridiculously strict targets, and filming does not work like that. You can have the best laid plans for filming, and things take longer. They take the average thing will take longer to do. I've been on loads of film sets where things have taken longer than they have been. That's not a brag. That's just to make a point. And that happens from student films through to Hollywood blockbusters.
Nick, we know why the films were delayed when you were on them, because you asked for specific chairs, you wanted your trailer cleaned.
Hush, little baby.
And you wanted your special Smarties that were all red. We know.
Lies. They were orange.
So, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that COVID with Robert will affect the industry? Do you think that there's a big problem going on? Do you think all the films that were going to come out are now going to be staggered even more?
I think they're going to have to be, because I think, I just kind of at a stage where I just like, I don't want them to, I wouldn't want them to be rushed, and they'll be doing themselves a disservice if they do.
That's it. Especially with the Batman film that's coming out, that potentially has got the opportunity to be groundbreaking. It's got the potential to be 18 if they wanted. It's going to be a hard 15, I'm guessing. R-rated in America. It's not going to be for kids. It's going to be exciting. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that works. And of course, I'd love to hear what you think. Is Timmy Mallet or Neil Buchanan or the Massive Attack guy,
Robert Del Naja, yeah.
Is that Banksy? Who knows? You choose. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks very much for watching, and a big shout out to our surprise guest. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.
Don't forget to be mask back on.
Mask up. Wash your hands. Bye.